And welcome back to AR's Tales, aka the A.R.T podcast. I am A.R. Mirabal, and today I am joined by Lexi, author of Lust and Deceit, a romance novel that she is we're about to go into a little bit today, as well as a little bit her background, what she's into, the regular deal. So, Lexi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm phenomenal, improving and outstanding, as somebody used to say when I was growing up. So, tell me a little bit about your background. How did you get into writing?
Well, I've been writing since I was little, since I was like 10 years old. And I used to write short stories. And as I grew older, my writing just progressed. But like last year, because of the pandemic, I stopped working because I work in a school with little kids.
Hmm.
So I had nothing to do. So I was like, you know what? Let me just start writing. And obviously, it took off. And that's how I started writing.
What do you mean by it took off? Did you by the sense that you got a lot of reception that was positive in your direction?
Yeah.
And
y-
how you started publishing on Wattpad, right? I believe that's
Yeah.
something, and Inkit, correct?
Yeah. Well, I started Inkit like 2 months ago, and cause like I published on Wattpad last year in April, and then I didn't like the way the first draft was. Even though everybody liked it, me personally, I was like, it could do better. So I took it down, and then I started working on it independently. And then in December of 2020, I released it again on Wattpad and Inkit, and it definitely took off on Inkit too. Because within 2 months, I reached like 10,000 reads. So yeah,
Great.
yeah.
And
And then
what? Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, please.
Okay, and then because I've always wanted to self-publish, so that was my main goal. Was to grow my following more on Wattpad and Inkit, and then self-publish, and that's what I did.
Now that is very interesting because I always felt like the path that I always wanted to go was more of the novels and then kind of go on the Wattpad, but just
Mhm.
that's more of just like the industry growing as I was drafting my first novel. Like
Right.
Wattpad thing wasn't like as big as it is, so like kind of explain to me how you got into act like Wattpad and Inkit. Like how did you get into the mindset? Did you drop it as a chapter per chapter? Like how did that go? I'm completely new to
Well,
that
for
whole part of the
well,
industry.
first and foremost, I had Wattpad since 2017, and I was an avid reader.
Mm,
And I don't I just I knew I always wanted to write, and I tried. I don't know if you know this app called Episodes.
mm-mm.
Well, it's an animated app, and I wanted to do that first because I just always love writing. And then
Oh,
when I went deep into like researching how do you write on Episode, it's a lot because it's a lot of coding. So I was like, it was just difficult. I mean, a lot of you get paid with that, but me personally, it was a lot. So I was like, you know what? Let me try Wattpad since I'm always on it, and it's easier. And from there, like my reads started, progressing. And then, like I said, like I unpublished my work, and then I was like, you know what? Let me republish it because I know my end goal was to self-publish, but my following isn't as big as it is like now.
mm.
So I wanted to grow that a little bit more before I go out and publish it, my book. And that's what I did. And I've gotten really, really, I've a lot of people like really been buying my book. So I've been appreciative of that, whether it be readers, writers, or my family. So it's an amazing feeling.
And you just released it. What was it? March, I believe,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, March 7th for the ebook and March 8th for the paperback book. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Now I kind of messed up by not doing it in the beginning, but where can people find you? Where what is the Wattpad username? Where can people
Okay.
find?
It's okay. So my Wattpad username is XO Sandy XO,
Hmm.
and my ink kit is Sandy XO. So and my Instagram It's Sandy Wrights with 2 underscores. I have a Facebook. You can find me at Sandra Robinson. And my Twitter is the same as Instagram. So like I have social media.
That's all. And you're a huge fan of the community, I'm assuming, right?
Yes, yeah. I've been reading there like for years. Yeah.
Do you feel like and if there's anybody specific, feel free to give them a shout out, but do you feel like the community has morphed and helped nurture your writing capabilities?
Yes, I actually would like to give a couple of shout outs to a lot of these authors.
Oh, please go ahead.
Mary, Lori, Via, Jessica.
Well,
Those
like
are just.
like the full names,
Oh, you want me to go deep into like their Instagram names?
Well, if you don't know them, because I know you're talking about Lori. Like Lori, I've had her on the podcast before. She's the author of Class of '95 and
Yes, yeah.
uh, what was it called?
The Adornment
A
Howl.
Dormant Howl. I don't know why I was thinking the Dire Howl. I knew that was wrong, but
I know that because I'm still waiting on her to release a new chapter from Adornment Howl, and like I've been telling her like I'm just sitting here patiently waiting. So, you want me to give him the full Instagram name?
well, like if you knew it off of the top of your head type of stuff, but like if not, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I know Via is Via Thorn. Jessica, her name is Bradley Toothpick. And Mary is like Mary Terry One, and of course Lori is Lori Writes Stories.
Yeah, so you got it anyway, right off the top of your head.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's underscores or whatever, but I know their names on Instagram.
Yeah, but if enough so people can Google and be like, hey, okay, I know who they're talking about now.
Yeah. No, they definitely really helped me, and I have a lot more, especially my good friend. I cannot forget her, who's actually one of my best friends, and her name is Asia, and she had some part in like proofreading this book with me and my husband. So yeah, definitely, I would definitely have to shout her out because she helped a lot since the beginning of me writing on Wattpad.
Now, something that I kind of found to be a little conflicting is you said that you recently got into writing because of the lull of COVID, right? But you also said that you always wanted to get into writing.
Yes, it's just like,
How far does that date back? Since you were young, you want to be into
oh
writing,
yeah,
but you
yeah.
never
I
got
said
into it until now.
like no. I started writing like I wrote short stories when I was 10 years old. Unfortunately, my mother threw them out by accident. So
Yeah,
and
that
then
definitely counts as the beginning.
yeah, but I just never had the courage to actually publish something.
Okay.
So I had the time, and I was like, I really want to do this, and I had nothing to do. We're all locked in the house,
Hmm.
so I had the time, and I bought myself a laptop, and from there I just started writing.
Now,
So
so your beginning was kind of short stories. I have a kind of similar type of thing. I feel like that's kind of the very beginning of like a lot of people. That's like the climbing of the summit of like the
right,
writing of
right,
like what mountain is, and kind of getting into short stories. What type of
yeah.
short stories did you get into? What genre?
I was always with children's books.
Okay.
So yeah, that definitely because I was 10 years old, so it was like I was a kid myself. So yeah, so definitely children's books, and then like we moved. I still had them, but then like when I was in high school, we moved back to Staten Island because I'm from New York.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved to Staten Island, and then my mom accidentally like threw those out. So I don't have them anymore. So and then like I just stopped from like high school until like recently last year.
But kind of diving a little bit more into the short stories, there has to have been like a genre, no? Because even for me, I was writing the short stories, but even dating back then, I was always doing some type of sci-fi, some type of thriller. Like that was
Mhm.
always my home base. What was your home base? Like like
My home base, I always used to write like once upon a time stories.
okay,
So
so romances.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I made it like kids friendly. you
Mm.
know, but stuff like that, like, princess and princesses and, just of what I knew because I'm still am a big fan of Disney. So, princess and princesses, like those are my, type of thing.
Hmm. Now, how did you get the idea for your first novel? How did that come into play?
Well, actually, the first draft was actually called Friends with Benefits,
Okay.
and then when I started writing, because I put out 10 chapters, the first 10 chapters on Wattpad, but nobody knew about it, but like
Uh-oh.
my close friends, because I wanted to test it out.
Hmm.
So it started off with Friends and Benefits, and then as I started writing the story, I'm like, it doesn't match what I'm trying to produce. I'm trying to write out. So after like I would say like a couple of days, like me and my husband sat around thinking of names for the book because he edits my work. So I don't know how one day I don't know if it was him or if it was me we came up with Lust and Deceit because there's like a lot of deceit in the book and there's a lot of lust in the book. And that's, yeah, I don't know how one day, like last year, we just thought of it. I don't know if it was me and him, but it wasn't supposed to be called Less Than the Sea. It was actually Friends with Benefits, and I didn't like it, so I changed it.
I like that name, Lust and Deceit. It's
Yeah.
almost like Pride and Prejudice.
Right, yeah.
Now, what genre, for the people that aren't familiar with you, is Lust and Deceit?
It's more erotica and romance and
Mm.
drama. It has a lot of, a little bit of all three.
Now, as a person that doesn't really write that genre,
Hmm.
how do you layer those elements on top of one another in a coherent plot? And how do you develop characters that, are like genuine within a world without making them seem like they're,
Like they're fake.
outrageously, yeah.
Yeah. It can be difficult, because it's like sometimes like you don't want to put too much sex in the book because then it gets repetitive. Sometimes, like with my character Jessica, my husband says I make her go through too much in the book, but it's a reason for that for book two because there is this book. The series is a trilogy, so I mean it can be difficult, but I try the best that I can, and it falls into place. Me personally, I feel like it falls into place, but sometimes I try to do things in a way that it's not too repetitive.
Mm. And how do you manage that? What ways have you found to manage that?
I actually like I started researching because I'm Mary. I love you. I'm gonna say that. She's helped me where I don't want to give too much away for the book,
No,
but
definitely not.
there's
Definitely not.
there's a specific scene that my character goes through, and this is when I had published it on Wattpad, and this was like actually a couple of weeks ago because the book just finished, and she said that we were on video call with Lori and Mary, and she asked me personally, she was like, "Do you think that's like being realistic?" So I had to sit down and I had to think about I had to think about it, and you know, she told me, research that topic because it's a difficult topic to talk about, and I'm not going to talk about it. But this girl goes in the ending of the book, she goes through something really traumatic, and I had to do research on that before actually self-publishing it.
Mm.
And I did, and it came out pretty well, and I have to really thank her for that.
Think Mary.
Yes, thank you, Mary.
Hmm. So, how does this kind of all boil into book two?
Um, my character goes, she finds something out at the ending of the book, and which is from her love interest, and he's kept the secret from her for like over a year, and one of her, it's not I'm not gonna say complicated, but one of her love interests, some girl has spilled the beans in front of everybody. Yeah, and it has something to do with her. I'm not gonna. I can't say it. I don't want to give it away.
Mm.
But it leaves my character feeling in despair, in agony, because it's somebody she trusted,
Mm.
and she's
Someone
wondering
that she
like
had lust over, and now she feels like she's been deceived.
she yeah, she loves him. She did love him, and yeah, so she went home, and then something else happened to her, and I'm not gonna say it,
Mm.
but she's feeling like why, after if she's been through enough in the book, and she finally found somebody that she thought,
Sleep.
yeah, and it boils down to book two where she becomes more stronger. Because in this book, in the first book, I kind of made her, I wouldn't say a little weak, but she went through a lot.
Mm.
She really went through a lot. So in book two, she toughens up, and there's a lot more drama coming, a lot.
Mm.
So everybody just has to wait and see when it comes out.
So, as far as the trilogy goes, and as far as the
Mhm.
character development goes, how do you handle points of views? How many point of views do you have in the book? Do you ever go to the point of view of a male? And if you do, how do you feel writing a male's point of view?
Yes, I actually do. Lust and Deceit has a lot of point of views from different characters because I like to write about what that person is feeling at that moment.
Mm.
It's always the main point of view. It's always the main character's point of view. But I actually have a few in this book. Book two, not I'm not gonna do it so much because it centers on my two main characters, which is Jessica and Emiliano. There will be different point of views, but not as much as book one.
Mm.
And I actually like writing from a man's point of view. It's different, and it's actually a challenge. But I welcome the challenge, and it's been good
How would you say it's a challenge?
because it's not difficult because I'm a female, so it's like sometimes you just have to think of a mind like a man, and you know sometimes it does get a little difficult, but I I manage it. It's been really good. At first, when I started like writing it, I was like, this doesn't make no sense. So I'll go back and sometimes I'll write the chapter a couple times to make sure it's perfect.
Hmm.
And it's been really good. I like it.
How do you put it? How do you put yourself in the mindset of a man?
Well, I have my husband helps with that. He gives me ideas, and I have to thank him for that because it I have to I have to put my mind as a man, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I need your help, and he'll help and he'll give me ideas, and I can't take all the credit for this book. This book actually he helped a lot with, so thank you, husband. So
And
yeah, I just
no,
go ahead.
no, you please.
Yeah, so I just asked him for his opinions because I don't want to make it too repetitive, like the male character from before, because there's I think like 3 4 men in this book, and I've written all point of views from their point of view,
Huh.
and each man has their own personality, so it's like I got to delve deeper into that. Like there's one like Jessica's ex-boyfriend. He's I don't think he's crazy, but he gets a little chaotic and psychotic. So then I have to delve deep into that. I have another one who Emiliano, which is her love interest. I don't want to make him too soft, but then I don't want to make him too boy. You have to read the book to understand where I'm coming from with him.
Hmm.
There's another one whose name is Laurel, who's his story is actually based off my best friend. So it's like I have to delve deep into my best friend's mind for that. So yeah, it's been a little difficult, but I've been managing.
Now, how does it go to the actual nitty gritty of it all? You said that your husband is the editor, you're the writer, obviously, but do you reach out to any other people? Do you have somebody proofreading? Do you have people doing your covers? How does it go?
Yes. So the other person that's edit my chapters other than me and my husband was my friend Asia. And for the Wattpad and Inkit, the publication of that, she sometimes do it or another writer does it. But for the book cover for Amazon, my friend actually did it. Her name is Julia. Shout out to Julia. She
Julia Vellucci?
no,
Oh, okay.
I she's Italian. Her last name is Italian. Let me see. Hold on. I have her here. It's Julia Benzoglio.
Benzodillo. Okay.
Yeah. So she helped out with the cover for this book, and shout out to her for this. She did
Yeah,
the front and the back cover.
yeah, nice.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, that's good. And then yeah,
Yeah.
and the spine too.
Yeah, she did a really good job. We worked on this
No,
for
like show
months.
off the spine.
Oh, you want me to show up? That's fine.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And it's my picture in the back right here. Yeah.
It's really exciting to hold your own book, huh?
Yes, it really is. It felt so surreal. And I got excited today. I just shipped my father his book with my signature on it. So yeah, it just feels so surreal. But
I'm
I'm
sure.
basking in I'm
I'm
basking in
sure.
the happiness.
I'm sure. It must be kind of double layered though. How do you feel your dad reading
Oh,
erotica that you made?
I told him not to go past the dedication page because I told him I feel weird because it's different if it's like my sister because she reads stuff like that. My old sister, my other friends, that's different. But that's my father. So I said, please do not read past the dedication page. That's it.
Mm.
I told him no because I guess he just wants to have it because it's my book. But I told him not to read it, and he said he's fine with that.
Now, when it comes to the actual nitty gritty of your book, how do you handle it? How do you censor yourself?
What do you mean?
Like, to what extent do you go with the erotica? Like, for example, I'm a huge fan of action, but for me, I'm not a huge fan of gore. So I'll write a lot of action, but I don't go into huge detail about the blood dripping down. I mean, I guess I do,
Oh,
but not like not to like Saw levels.
I go deep into the erotica, but I don't
So heavily
want.
graphic.
Yes, but I kind of like with the release of the book, I kind of like did it a little bit because I don't know. I love having erotica in the book, but I don't want to have too much of it where it takes away from the drama. And you do understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Not saying anything confusing.
yeah.
Now, kind of man, because I really love the idea of how like the that when you came up with the story so quickly, and especially just taking the kind of silver lining that it is to have all this time on your hand with all the chaos around you in order to like devote and put your energy into something that you love and create. I know a lot of people have been doing it. That's what started me on this whole path of doing everything that I'm doing now, and it's
Hmm.
phenomenal to see like the energy within other people.
Yeah,
So
like it. COVID kind of hit us hard, because it just came up, and with me being home because I'm very asthmatic. So when COVID hit, my husband would do a lot of the runarounds for us because if I get sick, God forbid, like I would end up in the hospital. So I was just constantly in the house, and it was starting to get a little depressing. So I'm so used to just getting up and going to work and taking care of the kids every day, and to me being home. And same thing with my husband because he works in the school system too. So I was just one day just woke up and I just said, you know what, let me just do it, and I did it, and yeah, here we are today.
Well, congratulations for that. And again, if you're interested in it, I recommend it. Lust and Deceit out on Amazon now. Pick it
Thank
up.
you.
I have the website and all your links up on the next page, and in a little bit
Yes.
we'll kind of show their off to the people so they can know where to find you and whatnot.
Okay.
But on to something that kind of interested me is how did you go? Because there's a gap in kind of how I've been plotting your story so far. How did
Mhm.
you go from writing these fairy tale children's stories to writing highly graphic erotica? Where did that transcend?
Well, it has a lot to do with me reading a lot of these books,
Reading
and
erotica. How did what when did that start?
that started a couple years ago. I used to take care of my mom, so one day she was just sleeping, and I saw the app. 'Cause I always had the app on my phone. I just never clicked on it, and from there, I just started downloading all these erotica books, and I started reading it. And I'm like, well, like this sounds interesting, like I can do this, but I just never went about it, you know?
Mm. Now that's really interesting. So you've been an avid reader all your life into Disney and fairy tales, and then a couple years ago
Yeah.
you kind of dive into erotica.
Well, I mean, I've always been into erotica because I have like the Fifty Shades Grey novels. I have other books like the After series. Like I have those paperback books,
Mm.
and then I'm like, I've heard about Wattpad and I heard it's a free app for you to read on. So I just downloaded it, and then one day I just started reading it. I'm like, let me see what this is about. Because I noticed like a lot of the books on Wattpad is fan fiction.
Mm.
So that would pop up, and I would just exit out of that. And then I don't know, one day I was sitting at my mom's house and I was like, let me just read it. Let me just, see what's there, and I did, and it was really interesting.
Hmm. Now, can you elaborate a little bit more on your process? Like, how do you turn an idea or a concept that you have that you're is kind of budgeting like a seed and acorn? How do you make sure and mature that into the tree that is a novel? That was the lamest
So
analogy ever, but we'll just go with that.
it took me like I want to say
Okay, hold on.
Uh-oh. Technical
Yeah,
difficulties.
it's okay. You
Oh
can
wait,
hear me though, right?
you just dropped the thing? You just
Yeah, well,
you lost your battery on the earbuds?
yeah, you can hear me though, right?
Kind of loud, honestly. Uh
Hold
those
on.
the previous headphones didn't work. Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna have to pause this real quick. All right, just had a little bit of technical difficulties there, but we are back and we are recording and we are live. So,
Yes.
Lexi, tell me more about the cover design. How do you get into the how did you choose the cover, the imagery? We know you know that you worked with Asia, as you said, but how did you
No,
work with?
Julia.
Oh, Julie. Oh,
Julia.
I'm sorry.
Julia.
Asia did the formatting.
Asia's the one that helped me proofread, and she does some of my designs for Wattpad and Inkit. The book covers for Wattpad and Inkit.
Oh,
For the
okay.
Amazon release, my friend
Julia
Julia,
Berzoni.
she's a graphic designer. So that's how we got into it, and I kind of had like a a vision
Mm,
in my head, and she would give me like pictures of you know different models and how I wanted it to be, like, because I didn't want it to be too sexual because it takes away from the book, and because like I wanted to post my book on Facebook, and when I first came out with this cover for Wattpad, it was a little too sexual, and Facebook blocked me for like
What
a
was the
day.
original image?
It was a couple, and I guess because like she had on jeans, but like I guess the jeans were like under her butt. So I don't know, but they blocked me from it. So this time I told her we can go with sexy, but still classy. So that's how we skirted around. She gave me a lot of good pictures, but that one was, I don't know, it resonated with me more.
Hmm.
And that's how we it took she started this in, I would say, October. So we had time. Yeah, cuz that's when I first started revamping the book, and I knew that I was publishing it on Amazon. And I told her, we had like a FaceTime call, and I told her what I wanted, and she did that one first, and I liked it. But she said, maybe, I'll give you other options. And she did. And but I still like that cover more. So that's how it came about. She's worked on this for uh, quite a while.
Well, it definitely shows a very alluring uh, cover, without a doubt. And again, we'll
Yeah.
get into it a little bit. But before we do that, I want to ask, what are your inspirations? What books and movies and TV shows are kind of like what have inspired you and what continue to inspire you in your writing?
Um the books I would say definitely would be is a few. I'm gonna actually name them.
Go ahead.
And but they're from Wattpad. From Queen of Desires, the London Crime King series. That book is actually my ultimate favorite, and no matter how much I read that book like, say, like I'll reread it like twice or three times a month. Yeah, her books are really, really, really amazing. Um, my other friend Jessica, and who's the her series is the Mafia series. And because in my book you have a little bit of mafia, so like those are the type of books that I like, you know, a little mafia with a little violence and erotica, drama, heartbreak, you know.
How do you include the mafia into all that?
I can't give it away, but one of the main characters, the love interest, he has some dealings with the mafia, and
So kind of
I did,
Shakespearean.
yeah, I didn't really mention it until like the ending of the story, because here's this guy who's dating this girl. At first they started just casual, just having casual
Friends with
sex.
benefits.
Yes. And then eventually she started to fall for him, and then he kept giving her clues like, I'm not the guy for you, and the same thing that a mafia guy would say. And
Of course.
yeah,
I know
and
like
then
20 of them.
yeah. And then eventually, like, um I could say this part. He took her away for her birthday, surprised her with her friends and stuff in a mansion. And she's getting these questions because, there's little things that he will say to her that will make her question, like, what does he really do for a living? You know, like he says he owns a construction business, right? And if you're in New York, especially in New York, where I'm from, because that's where I based the book off of, you owning a construction business meaning you're doing drugs.
Well, I mean, anybody says they're in construction.
Yeah, so she's like, that makes no sense, And this, during her birthday, it was he took her to a winery, and they were having he rented out the whole place for her. And she asked him a question, and she's like, what do you really do for a living? Because there's little things that he's telling her that's not adding up. I don't want to give too much away because then I don't want to give away the book, but yeah.
Wow. So how in what direction do you think you'll go in the future? What like ideas do you have for upcoming sagas, for other books, standalones, other short stories?
I definitely want to finish this book first, the series first, because it's a 3-book series. And then after that, I wanted to do a lot of research and dive into um paranormal romance and teen romance. It's going to be a challenge, but I wanted to do it. And then I also wanted to start writing. I'm giving myself this challenge. I'm going to do a lot of research on it. I wanted to go back on the episode app, and I wanted to try to do that as well. It's just a lot of coding.
Thank God that you brought that back up. So Wattpad has a sister app called Tap that I'm pretty sure does exactly what you're talking about with episodes. It's interactive storytelling, so you can like change the background, the way the words come out, make it like have sound effects and all those things. Now Wattpad does not require coding. I mean, no, Tap does not require coding. So if you're interested in that, I'd recommend looking into that. Tap.
Yes, I'll definitely look into that. Okay, I'll definitely look into that. Yeah, because episode, like when I was I researched it on YouTube, and it's it's I gave up the first time. First of all, after making my characters, I said this is difficult, but I've spoken to a lot of episode authors, and they told me that this guy, specific guy, I don't remember his name, but he will do tutorials on how to code and how to do stories and stuff. So, but I will definitely look into Tap.
Now, one question you kind of didn't answer before is, what are your favorite movies and TV shows?
Oh, my favorite movies and TV shows. Okay. My favorite, I'm going to go with my favorite TV shows. I don't know if you've watched The Vampire Diaries. And
I had a huge feeling you were going to say that.
Really? Why?
I don't know. Trend, I guess.
Yes. The Vampire Diaries originals, Jane the Virgin, Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
I started getting into Bridgerton.
What?
Bridgerton.
Oh, Bridgerton, okay.
Yes, and I actually just bought the book. I gotta read it because I wanted to see what all the hype was about, and I actually like the shelf, so I'm hoping the book is just as good.
Probably better. You know how it is.
Yeah. So that movies, I like a lot of action movies. Like I don't know if that's surprising. I do like the Avengers. I like Fast and Furious. I like Taken, and then I like the 50 Shades of Grey movies. I like my Selena movie. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you've seen the movie. Yeah.
Why would you say that?
I don't know. I don't know what you like or dislike.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So stuff like that.
No, yeah, of course I've seen the Selena movie in Spanish. I've seen the movie before I was 7. I've seen it like 3 times.
I watch it all the time, and my husband says I watch it too much. But
well, that was like my mom was around for like her death, and she like I mean when she gets when she used to get drunk with her friends and they would just like talk about it, they would really cry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me and my mom, that was our favorite thing to do.
To cry about it?
No, to watch it and then cry about it.
Yeah. But were you alive for that death, or is it just kind of like philosophically?
I was born in 90, so like I was still young.
But when did she die?
She died in 95.
What? I thought it was like 89 for whatever reason.
No, 90. Actually, I think her death anniversary is coming up this month.
Oh wow, you're a huge fan.
Yeah, I am.
But then again, I mean, like, she's really good.
Yeah, I just started getting my husband to listen to her music, and he actually likes it.
What is your background? Are you Spanish?
Yes, I am. I am Puerto Rican.
Do you think that influences your writing? And if not, do you think you want to incorporate more of your culture into future writings?
I actually do. My character Jessica, she's actually African American, Puerto Rican. So I do incorporate.
Where'd you get that from?
I just thought about. I wanted to incorporate my culture, a lot, a lot more, because I had a vision for how she looked, and I, I this model that I follow. Well, she's a dancer, and that's my character muse for Jessica. And I put a lot of my culture into there regarding that los con gandules, the sofrito, stuff like that. And I do put a little bit of Spanish in there, like, but I translate it for the readers that don't know what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've put a little bit of it in there with Italian as well,
Why Italian?
because her love interest is Italian. So
Have you ever been to Italy?
no, but I really want to go. I
Mm.
really, really want to go. I've been to Puerto Rico.
You've been in Puerto Rico, man. I haven't. I
Yeah.
haven't been back to DR since I left when I was like young.
Oh, so you're Dominican.
Yeah, I was. I was actually born there. I haven't been back since since we
Oh
left.
wow.
Mm.
Oh wow.
Now, kind of,
That's
kind of
that's crazy. You should
translating.
just to visit.
What do you mean?
Oh, like what? Translating the words?
Oh, translating
Like,
the Spanish into English.
oh yeah, that's what I mean. Well, I was born in New York, so like my mother never really taught me how to speak Spanish because I just didn't care to learn it. But my sister, shout out to my sister,
Hey,
she
shout out to your sister dropping a new album next week.
Debbie, I would call her Debbie. She was born in Puerto Rico and raised there. So I would text her sometimes, or my other sister-in-law. Like, does this make sense? I would, because like sometimes like I will Google translate it, but sometimes it's not always the correct way. So I would always have to go to one of them for it.
Well, it's all about dialect, right? Like, I remember, believe it or not, I actually like failed a lot of my Spanish classes when I was I mean, apart from me not giving half a crap
Mm-hmm.
about school, but like I would even fail those gimme classes, even though I was
Right,
fully fluent in Spanish. And honestly, a lot of it was because it was it wasn't my Spanish. Know what I
right.
mean? It was like the textbook Spanish that you taught that every American thinks is Spanish, so that's what it is. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Mexican Spanish, or it would be like
yeah.
Spain Spanish.
Right,
And
right.
I mean, one of the biggest things I remember, there was a time that I got into an argument with my teacher because she was trying to say that how that there is no word for the different type of bananas, like green and yellow. Like I remember she was saying that like plátano is
Mm-hmm.
green and yellow.
No, it's yellow.
Exactly. No, no, it's just green. No, but you know what I mean? Like the edible bananas. Like
Yeah.
how she was trying to say was that they're not called. It's all called plátano, and you just go by color.
Yeah,
Plátano
no.
amarillo, verde, XYZ, right?
Yeah,
And I was like, no, why would we not have different words for that? Like yellow bananas that you
exactly.
eat are guineo, and then you have
Mhm.
plátano, then you have plátano
Mhm.
maduro, which are this color.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I remember it was just like a whole it was just a whole different culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's unreal that it can be such a disparity within one language. But then if you think about historically, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, like Spain went and conquered all these other places, and just by
Right.
happenstance, by colonization, the language is
Right.
rubbed off. But it also had to
Right.
mix in with whatever they were doing before, right?
Right.
Uh are you a fan of history by any chance, or are you more just because you very seem like, from everything that I've picked up so far, even in your choice of action movies, you seem to really be driven by that romance aspect. I mean, Taken, romance driven. Fast and
Yeah.
Furious, Dom saying every 4 seconds, all about family, love.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the romance aspect of
Yeah,
it.
you seem to
Yeah.
be very driven by the whole love aspect. So kind of delving deeper into that, why do you think that is? And two, do you ever think that will morph into any type of other writing? Because as you said, you are kind of just getting into the point that you're taking yourself a little more seriously, that you're publishing
Mhm.
your work, and you have an ethic and a high and a standard for your work, as you said before, that you
Right.
published iterations of your work before and took it down on yourself, even though you had good reception. You did it just out of your own standards. So do you
Yeah.
ever think that not only your interest in genre will morph, but also do you think that your capabilities will also morph as you start growing and just
I definitely will. I definitely would think it will morph. I like to challenge myself, and regarding the romance aspect, maybe it's because since I was 15, I've been with my husband, so and I am 30 years old now, so it has a lot to definitely do with that. Like I'm just a loving I'm a loving type of girl, so
mm,
definitely has a lot to do with that. And I definitely do think as my writing keeps progressing, because like I read when I first read my whole book, because I started rewriting it in August, and when I first looked at it, I said, what the heck was this?
oh hell no.
It's gotten let me tell you, like, it has gotten like 8,000 reads itself from April to August.
Wait, which one?
So it Lust and Deceit. And I did get good reviews, but me personally,
You said that was on Inkit or what pad? I'm sorry.
no, this is Wattpad.
What
This
pad?
is this is before I took it down. So within a few months I did get like 8K reads. But that's also because I kept
Promoting it?
promoting it. Yeah, promoting it. And I did get good reviews, and sometimes my friends who are writers, they would be like, maybe you should do things this way, and maybe, as they will give me constructive criticism,
Mm.
and I love that because it lets me know what I'm doing wrong or what I'm doing right, or maybe I should do research. So I took it down, and when I started reading it, I wasn't liking it. I was like, what in the hell was this? And I'm like, people actually like this. Personally, even though somebody may like it, personally, if it's you, you have to treat your book as your baby. And if you don't like it, you're not gonna like it. So I took the whole book down, and I did a lot of research, a lot of research. And I started writing it from August, and then I published it in December of 2020, and it has grown significantly well, I want to say.
The
Yeah.
viewer base.
Huh?
The
The
viewer
viewer base.
base.
Yes, definitely the viewer base. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now you brought up an interesting point. How do you handle promotion?
See, I feel like I don't promote myself enough. My friend was just telling me this, Asia. She said, you need to start promoting your book more.
I'll be honest with you. I have to agree. It took me like I think it was your 15th post that I
Yeah.
actually saw the cover for your book. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. She feels like I don't promote myself enough. And
But you should. Like you have you know.
yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
knocking you by any chance.
No, 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 no. So like she helped me set up a Goodreads account. So
Oh.
I will be posting about that. And she's going to help me make my own personal website where you could just have my links. It tells you about myself, and she's helping me with that. She's helping me with a lot because I'm just not used to this. So, like, the spotlight is on me. I'm not used to it.
Hmm.
I'm not, I was always very shy. I'm even surprised I did this podcast. Lori Lori was like, "Oh, like, I really think you should do it." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I've never done this before." She said, "Don't worry, you'll be good. I trust him." I said, "Okay, if you say so." So
Oh
like,
God.
yeah.
Well, such high praise. I hope I'm not messing it up.
No, no. No, no. I just know I need to promote myself out there a little bit more. And I will. It's just a shyness thing, I'm a very what they call it, introvert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
That's a weird. That's. I feel like that's a weird phrase. I go back and forth. Like I would say, I'm actually
mhm.
pretty introverted,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I guess I like talking to people too. Um.
Yeah, I mean it depends. Like sometimes like I'm shy, like like I'm not shy now, but like starting the podcast, I was like nervous and stuff. But
Yeah.
when you see me around my family, I'm all over the place. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's my family, you know,
Mm.
but yeah.
Well, another thing that I just am really interested in is the kind of what is the kind of career path that you foresee yourself for yourself.
As I was little, I've always wanted to be a teacher. Yeah.
So what is your dream position? You're a professor at a state
No,
university.
I
You
want
have you have a
I
picture with your the back like
no
this, or you're laying
no.
down like this, like the rose pose from Titanic.
No, I've
No?
always wanted to be a kindergarten teacher. I love little kids.
Okay.
You know, especially like my sister, she had kids, you know. She has like 8 daughters, so yeah.
8.
Yeah, 8 daughters. So they're my babies. So
That's okay.
yeah, a lot of girls. She did not have not one boy.
That's the reality TV show right there.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was just telling her because she wants to get a car, you know. She
in New
needs a
York?
car.
Oh no, you said
Yeah.
you lived in New York, not currently.
Yeah. No, I live in New York now.
Oh, you live in New York now.
Yeah.
Uh, on Manhattan, man, I think it's on like Fifth Street. There's a pizza place called like Francesca, something like that.
Fifth Avenue, where?
Fresca, I think, or Fresca.
If I see it, then yeah, I probably know about it.
And I honestly might even not like. I know it's in Manhattan. It's either Fifth Street or 11th Street.
Mm-hmm.
When I first came to America, like that's like my grandma had an apartment there, and that's where we were at for like the longest while.
Mm-hmm.
And then Queens and Corona.
Okay.
I'm actually a huge fan of New York. And then I have an uncle in Long Island, I think.
Okay. I'm in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Nice.
Yeah.
Actually had some friends that like moved out. Well, I have like 2 friends that moved out there like after graduation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the city influences your writing? Because I have to say, Boston definitely influenced a lot of my writing as I was coming up with my first novel.
Yeah. No, definitely yes, because New York is all I know. You know, for book 2, well, now actually book 3, actually, I'm thinking of doing the location elsewhere,
Hmm.
you
Europe,
know, but I was thinking Europe. Yes, Europe. And it
Paris,
actually,
and that's when all the mob ties come together because that's when you find out that he's actually a blood relative. Oh, what do you mean? Stop! I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you write this one.
it's regarding, after book 2, it leaves off with children and,
Like they have children.
I don't want to say who, but somebody has children,
Oh,
and it's book 3 starts off like, I want to say like 19 years later.
oh shit!
Yeah, so it's like a big age gap. And I already started, actually, I started the prologue and chapter 1 for that.
You
Yeah.
already started the prologue in chapter 1 for book 3.
Yeah, because book 2 it was written as well.
Oh,
Cuz
book
like
2 is already written as well, but you're just kind of doing the middle ground of it right now.
yes, what I'm doing is I'm changing a lot of
Yes.
things. I'm
Okay.
changing a lot of things. Cuz book 2 was published on Wattpad right after Lust and Deceit ended. And even though book 2 is really good, I have some changes to make.
What are name and scheme are you gonna go for the series, I guess?
So okay, so book 2 was called Infidelity and Desire. But I don't want to do that. I think I'm changing the name as well. Yeah, I'm gonna do a couple chapters, see how I feel, and then I'm gonna skirt around some ideas.
I was thinking yeet and skeet.
That's good. That's a good one. Yeet and skeet.
Or you put that in the opposite order?
Yeah,
Um,
skeet and geet.
Yeah, yeah. Or no, that'll be the subtitle. It'll be infidelity and desire. Deity.
That's funny. That's funny.
Now, man, what was another paranormal romance? Is what you were talking about earlier.
Yes,
How do you plan on to diving into that? Are you gonna go into ghost? Are you gonna have like
I would like to delve
stranger
into
in the bed type of thing?
no, actually, it's I don't know if it's paranormal or if supernatural. Like I want to delve deep into vampires and werewolves
No,
and
that's hella
witches.
interesting. I just had a conversation with somebody because when I said that like supernatural and paranormal were the same thing, they were like, "Oh hell no," and like
Yeah, that's
gave me a
why.
little breakdown.
Yeah,
You
that's
give me a breakdown. What do you think is the
well.
difference?
Definitely, I think paranormal is ghost and other things.
But doesn't
Supernatural,
paranormal mean like paranormal, like anything that's not normal? So wouldn't that
yeah.
fall in the same thing as supernatural?
I mean, if you want to put it like that, yeah. I just don't want to say it and then like people hear this podcast of like, no, she's wrong. It's not that.
Well, think about it. Who is really gonna care?
No, but like a lot of these authors, they take things like when they're, passionate
Yeah.
about something and they're like, no, she's wrong. So
Well,
it
look.
definitely,
No, go ahead, please.
definitely vampires, werewolves, and witches. I definitely would have delved into, but that won't be out until like possibly next year because I have to do a lot of research on that. I just don't want to write anything about it.
Mm.
It's gonna be a big research project.
Man, you definitely have a lot of notes from Lori. I remember like last time I talked to her, me and her were going back and forth on a story that I had just kind of had an idea with, and I wanted to run it by her.
Mm-hmm.
And just the way you're speaking, you're talking exactly how she
Oh,
talks. You really picked up a lot of notes from her.
that I love her. she's she's been a great help regarding the release of this book. She's given me resources, publishers, editors, and regarding like designers for to format the book and design it. She's done that. She's been a significant other book covers that book designers that I may want to use. She's been a great help to her. I mean to me, I'm sorry.
Great. No, I'm sure she's a greater help to herself as well. I'm sure she would
Yeah.
agree with that. Uh, now, I know there was one more thing. No, back on the paranormal thing. I mean, honestly, I agree with you. There's a lot of times that I'll say something and be like, "Oh crap, I'm gonna be canceled tomorrow. That's it for me." But like,
Yeah.
I I mean, and I say this honestly just because like I think we're all getting a little tired of like the overcorrectness that we're doing. I don't
Yeah.
think that ignorance is the same thing as like hatred. Like we're literally having a conversation because we don't know. How can you get
Right.
mad over us not knowing? We're admitting
But
ignorance. You know what I mean?
but what's crazy is this generation. How old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay. This generation younger
So
than
they
us.
say. Bing, bing,
Yeah.
bing.
They're very, very sensitive, I want to say.
I don't. The thing. All right. This is the thing. I actually don't think they are. I know what you mean, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's real. Like they like.
Right.
I think they just view it as like the latest like.
I
I
don't
don't know.
say trend.
Well, like when I was a kid, the coolest thing was I was about to swear. But I don't know how comfortable you are with that, but especially you
No,
have
it's okay.
kids.
I curse. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
have kids.
All right. Cool. So yeah. The biggest thing like cool to me when I was a kid was shutting the fuck up. If you did something, you know what I mean, like if you were in the
Yeah.
classroom and like that one weird kid brought a lighter and like just like did like that just like flicked it like 3 times and put it back in
Yeah.
his pocket. The cool thing was to not say an absolute word when the teacher came back in. That
Right.
was what was
Right.
cool. Now kids are popping out their phone immediately, snitching on themselves. Oh, let me send it to my
Yeah.
mom, my dad. Dude, we'll get
Yeah.
arrested tomorrow with this. Like I don't
Yeah.
know, I don't know what it is. Like kids are more they're like to me everything is like switching to virtual. Like
Yeah. That's it is. We didn't have technology
you know what I
growing
mean?
up.
exactly. The reason we stayed quiet is because like we were looking for the approval of just the 30 people in the room. The reason
Right.
why these kids are snitching is because like who even cares about the 30 people in the room when this video can get me the approval, the fake approval of like
Yeah.
1,000, 20,000 people on the
It's
internet.
all about the views. It's all
Yeah.
about the views. Like talking about that, like when the pandemic hit last year in March, there was, I don't know if you heard about it, there was a rapper, and he was rapping, he made a whole video and everything rapping about unemployment fraud, him doing unemployment fraud. And he released it like last summer, and he got arrested for that. Like what was the point of that? Because now you owe like I think he owed like $1 million in unemployment fraud.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, that type of things happen. I mean, like, oh my God, I almost feel like I'm dry snitching on people that I know, but obviously it's like, you know, wait, what are you gonna do? But the amount of people that I just know of, hypothetically, of course, you know, it's not like I know any of
Yeah.
these type of people, but like they do things and then put it up on Snapchat or then like just or I don't even have to go as far as like people that I know. You hop on Reddit and the things that people are like posting
Yeah.
themselves. My favorite is when and look, I'm not going to go into the whole debate on the mask no mask. Really it's been way too much. But just the
Yeah.
idea that not only are you going to like provoke a scene because regardless of the
Yeah.
situation it's provoking a scene
Right.
you know, regardless of what side you're on about it. And then like you're gonna record yourself doing it. I
Yeah.
mean, like why? I don't know. Everything is just so odd, you know, especially that
And no,
I'm a huge conspiracy nut too. Just like thinking that like it just seems so plotted. I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. This should
Weird turn of the conversation.
yeah, yeah. This I don't know. This generation now, I don't know. Because I always, grew up, you know, disciplined, and like I didn't have my first cell phone until like I was 16.
12. No, 14.
And that wasn't even because my mother wanted to buy it for me. My husband bought it for me so I could be able to text him. Because my mom, she's old school, so she didn't let me have, especially, I guess it's a Hispanic thing.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't have my first one until I uh had confession. No, whatever. Constitution.
Hmm.
Proclamation. What is it called? What the one that happens when you're like 11 or 12 or something like that? Conviction, convention, whatever. My mom didn't let me have a phone until like then, and even then I had like the flip phone, and like I had
Yeah,
to
I had the flip phone too.
yeah I had to work to save up money to get the cool Motorola.
Yeah.
Remember that one, the one that like
Hmm.
it like turned sideways, like the screen
No,
turned sideways. Remember
I
that
had
one?
the razor. I had the razor.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Remember, like a couple
Yeah, yeah,
years
yeah,
after
yeah.
that, it was like the razor, but like instead of flipping up, it like slid. Remember that
Oh, I
one?
think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I saved up for that, and I thought I was the baddest
yeah,
MF to ever walk around. I was walking around in school.
yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't get one of those like fanny packs. You know what I mean? So I can just like walk around
Yeah.
like tucked into my pants. Like, hey, what's up? Somebody call me. Somebody
I
call.
had so many. I had so many cool phones back in the day, but my favorite has to been the Psychic.
Oh, without a single doubt. I never had one, but like that was without a doubt the coolest phone. Without a single doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Especially the way it
Sidekick
flipped up.
3 specifically. Remember that? Because that was like the smallest
Yeah,
one. It could like fit in your
yeah.
pocket nice. It wasn't too.
Hmm.
I on like
My
I.
favorite one, I think it was the LX because it lights up on all corners.
Yup.
Yeah,
And that's the one that had the light up ball too. Oh,
yeah, yeah,
nostalgia. You just brought that one back. And on top of that, it
yeah,
just held nice. It held like a game
yeah.
console. You know what I
It
mean?
was nice and firm. Yeah, it was nice and firm.
If only the iPhone developed from that model, things would be
I
so
would have
much cooler.
definitely, yeah, I would have definitely kept it. Yeah, I would definitely bought it.
I'm surprised it hasn't. Like, you know, that the screen just flips up and it's just a bigger screen, or you can just like have it,
Yeah,
you know, like normal.
yeah.
That'd make gaming awesome.
You know.
It's such a weird turn of events. Let's go and promote a little bit of the book. I'm gonna share screen.
Okay.
So right here we have your Instagram.
Yes.
Sandy writes underscore, and that underscore is filled with whatever she feels like writing that week. Erotica, Lust and Desire, Lust and Deceit.
Yes.
And then we
Oh,
have
look
that.
at
Oh, no,
that's
I'm
my
sorry.
mom.
Go ahead. Where?
Right there, that's my mom.
Right here?
No, up we go up. The first picture.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, that's my mom.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Definitely looks like New York too.
Yep, the D
My
train
God.
actually.
Yeah. Then we have Lust and Desire. My God, I don't know why am I keep on saying desire? It's your fault. I know it's your fault. Lust and Deceit.
Yes.
Alejandra Robinson.
Yes, yes. I'm so glad I changed my last name when I got married.
What was your last name before? What is your maiden name?
Gautier.
Say that again.
Gautier.
Gautiel. Oh, I actually know how to spell that.
Yes.
Wow, did you hear how excited I was to say that? I can
I
sound
know,
out a
but
word.
going like, when I need to speak to like doctors and just, important people, they do not know how to spell it at all.
Do you know how many times I'll be talking to somebody and they'll be like, "Oh, what's your name?" "Oh, my name's Angel." "Andrew?" "Angel." "Andrew." "Valdez?" "Qualtrez?" All right, dude. You write down whatever. You send me the bill. And you said, as you said, you have the website coming up.
Yes, definitely the website. Actually, I'm gonna work on that tomorrow with my friend Asia because we've been putting it off a little bit because she got her own thing going on and I got my own thing going on. So yeah.
Now, one thing before I let you go, I'm taking enough of your time. Now I'm getting tongue twisted. Uh, what is something that not only really excites you about like your career path, but is something that you really would have never considered prior to starting this path? You know what I mean?
It's what really, really, really moves me is the amount of support I get
Mm-hmm.
from readers. And it doesn't matter like if it's 1K or 2K up that my reads get, I always get excited and I screenshot it to my husband and I'll show him and I'll screenshot a lot of the because on web I don't know if you read on Webpad.
No, but you know what, I was definitely about to talk to you about that though. Don't even worry about it. Go
Okay.
ahead.
With Wattpad, every paragraph you can write a comment on there. So I love the comment. Like every paragraph, like the
No, I
reader
hear.
can.
Yeah, you can like
Yeah,
quote
yeah,
and like yeah. Okay.
yeah. And it really just motivates me, and it really brings me great happiness that they like what I'm putting out.
Mm.
It's I have to really appreciate the readers. That's my main goal. I love to hear the feedback, whether it's good or bad too. You know,
Mm.
not everybody's gonna like your book.
Why would you say that?
I've always said not a lot of people are gonna like your book, but what matters is that you
Yeah, but
like
why you
it.
keep on looking at me when you say that? You keep on saying no one's gonna like your book. Your book. I'm kidding. uh no, I mean I completely understand. It's I've talked about it in previous episodes. It's unreal. And you know what? Really good advice that I've heard from other people is all you have to do when you get a bad review that just kind of hurts your feelings, and believe me, for as much as we love to talk about, self-care and be like, you have to love yourself, I'm telling you that, you know,
No, yeah,
those little things are gonna come, and like you just gotta deal with it. It's not a thing you can't just like run away from it. You know what I mean? You gotta
right.
face those type of emotions. And a really good way of like dealing with it that I've like heard, and honestly I didn't even think of prior to starting this journey and talking to other people about it, was going up and looking other like your favorite book, your absolute like, you know, favorite Stephen King book that you read when you were 8 and it like changed your mind. Go ahead and look up the Amazon reviews for it. Hit the 1 stars. You'll be astounded. Your
Yeah,
favorite book, or even your favorite movie, your favorite TV show that like, something that you can talk about at length and just like, oh my God, it was the best thing ever made, by humans, by mortals. I can't even believe that God himself. I can't
yeah,
believe it wasn't dropped right after the Ten Commandments. So that's how holy it is to me. And
right.
And even then, it's gonna have some negative comments, and you just have to always keep that in mind. There are just different strokes for different folks. I know it's a weird way of
Right.
putting it, especially after commenting about Yeet and Skeet, but but honestly and truly, it really is. Like I remember the first time, because it's actually really funny. The reason why I wanted to bring up the whole Wattpad thing is because I
Mhm.
actually plan on doing. Oh, son of a! That's why you don't play around with things. uh, God, my God, I really just macked my entire finger there. My God,
Oh wow.
can you imagine if blood just started gushing like off of my neck? It's all
I'm like
scheming to get viral.
you need to go to the hospital.
um, no, but I actually plan after like all the headache, because like I'm
Mm,
in the final pages of actually of producing my book and publishing and everything. So
mhm.
when I get everything of that like bottled off, I'm gonna start releasing the book that I'm writing currently. Well,
Mhm.
it's kind of been on pause in order to get everything finished up here. But I'm gonna start
Okay.
releasing on Wattpad for the same type of like
Okay.
reason that I can start getting a following on this one, because with
Right.
allegory,
Right.
I'm just dropping it. I'm just dropping on people's heads.
Okay.
But the very first time that I ever wrote and published something, I published it on Reddit, which I don't know if you're too familiar with that
I've
community.
heard of that. I've heard of that.
Yeah, significantly more, I guess, less friendly than
That's
Wattpad.
friendly.
Yeah, extremely. I mean, for the most part, from what I've heard about Wattpad, Inkit, Instagram very much, Twitter a lot too, is that
Mhm.
everyone is really supportive. Like even if there's something is
Yeah.
relatively like weak, no one will shout for the weakness. They'll just
Right.
highlight what's good about it or what they like about it. Like
Yeah.
they're nice. Their critique
Yeah.
is conscientious.
Mm.
But Reddit just lets you go. I mean, there's anonymity. There's nobody. It's just a username. It's not like XYZ and there's like a picture of the person's face. It's just a random
Oh,
avatar. Yeah, so
okay.
people let you have it. So I remember the
Oh,
very first
wow.
time that I posted a short story, I got torn apart. And
Wow.
yeah, that very same short story, I published it a year later in a different subreddit, and it got 4 awards.
Yeah.
Same
See,
platform, same everything. It was just literally a different set of eyes viewing it.
right. Because, yeah, not everybody's going to like what you produce. And that's okay. I've learned to say that is okay. Just keep writing, just keep doing what you're doing, never give up, have faith in yourself and just do what you love. And who cares what everybody thinks? I just started putting that in my head because before then I was like, yeah, I really do care. But now it's just like, who cares? I'm not writing for them, I'm writing for myself.
What was the
And if
catalyst for that change?
I don't know, to be honest, like I guess I started like not caring what other people think about myself. Cause like I used to sit there and late at night with my husband proofreading and crying. I'm like, this isn't right. I don't know if they'll like it. And then he's like, who cares what they think? Just write for you and not them.
Hmm. It's a very hard rope to tight walk across, right? Because
Yeah.
um, I myself am very much like that. My entire goal, like there's a couple people. Even when I talked to Lori, a couple of decisions that I made, like she even said, like she even like gave me the eye of like, yeah, why would he even do that though? And it's like, listen, I'm not going for like brownie points here. I'm going for a plot that I'm proud of, that makes sense in my head,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and the entertainment factor of it you enjoy, and
Right.
and I stand by that, because even some of my favorite works have questionable endings or questionable like characters that make it go like, oh wait a minute, like I can't tell you how many shows I love will have like that one random villain that just can't die. You know what I mean? And you're always like,
Right. Right.
how is that season 4? We're still with this dude. How? You know what I mean?
That's actually funny that you mentioned it because I was reading this episode story actually before we started doing this podcast. And me and my friend, like, we go back and forth and like did you see what happened? And there
Mm-hmm.
was this villain in book one, actually two villains in book one, and we thought they died. and comes to find out we're reading the second story and they're not dead. And I'm like, how did they survive that? Mind you, it's like 20 years later. And they're still alive. I guess they were planning their revenge for that long, but I'm just like, they won't die. Like, I it's a good book, but sometimes I don't like when, like you said, season 4 and the villain is still alive. Like,
Yeah.
what's
Well,
the purpose of that?
well, that's the whole thing. It's like you know, I won't spoil too much of my own too, but there's a character that I kind of put a lot of I guess from like a writing standpoint, it's very, I can't say it's obvious, but a lot of, it's a very likable character. I'll leave it
Okay.
at that.
Mm-hmm.
And this character faces his end pretty early. Well, not really. Well, faces his end, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people kind of turn around and go like, why? You know, why would you get rid of that character within, you know, like it basically the first book that is
Mm-hmm.
introduced. Why would you
Right.
get rid of like a character that's so likable and all that? And to me, it's like, yeah, but like that character did exactly what, like it was exactly, like his story was exactly told within that confines of the book. That's why. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
again, it's the tightrope, because even I myself, I can defend it all live long day, but even I myself will sit back and be like, oh, you know, I wonder, did I make the right decision? Should I have made,
Right.
you know, should I have made a decision that your character that made that, like, you know, in book 3, it's like, oh, my leg was broken, but it healed in the woods for like 20
Right.
years. I was
Right.
actually alive this all the
Right.
entire time. You know, it really is a tightrope. So it's not really something. I mean, and on top of that, as for as much as I love to say that I just love to truck through ideas and just, like, you know, full confidence, just go. I can't tell you how much you just get like that nerve wracking feeling. I get it right
Yeah.
now. My book, I can't tell you how much work I've put into over years, and still I have like that feeling like I just finished writing it yesterday. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I still
Yeah.
feel like there's an entire mountain ahead of me, and just
Mm-hmm.
at this point, it's
Mm-hmm.
just all anxiety. You know what I mean?
Right.
uh how do you feel, or how do you handle that emotion? How do you know that it's coming on, and how do you kind of put your blinders on either side of your eye and make sure that you can progress to the point that you want to be?
I take breaks because when writing,
Honestly, I thought
um,
you were about to say I take drugs.
no, no, no. I mean, a glass of wine you know, won't be bad, but
Yeah, a bottle of wine's not too
um,
bad.
I do take breaks because sometimes I write too much to the point where my body starts to shut down. Like,
I hear you.
um, I will stay up all night, and if I have an idea, I won't stop,
Hmm.
and I'll write until one time writing this book, I stood up till like 11 in the morning. I didn't sleep at all, and that was concerning. That was very, very, very concerning. So when I'm feeling like anxiety and it's starting to kick in, I need to take a step back
Yeah,
because
I've definitely been there. I get real eye of the tiger, which is if I can be honest, it has its like back and forth. So for example, in my last really big drive to like finish my latest novel, I I mean, I really wanted it bad. It was right at the start of it was alright at the start of COVID, and it was kind of like the same type of thing. It was kind of like you have time in your hands because, you know,
yeah,
everyone has a little bit of well, fortunately for my company, it was like really short. It was only like a week or two.
mm-hmm,
But even in that time, you just get like kind of antsy, right? You know,
yeah,
Netflix is only like awesome for like a couple of days before you get like, all right, you know, what are we doing with my life, you know?
yeah, like
So and don't get me wrong, I love me some TV. I mean,
yeah, me too.
love it, love it. There is few things on the planet that are better than curling up with a really good thing that you want to watch,
Right.
some warm popcorn, some cold drink, and a nice blanket on a cold day. You know what I'm saying? That is
Yes,
godsend. That's
yes.
biblical. That's religious.
Yes.
It really is biblical to me. But even then, just like anything else, like Amorosa, right? It's after a couple much of it, it just gets it's too sweet. And
Yeah.
just your senses want a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
So I started going really ham on this book. I just really wanted it bad, and I'm not kidding. There was one time it was perfect time. It was spring, right? Kind of COVID stuff. So I went outside and nice little gazebo in my backyard. To go sit down and I started cranking something out at 5:30. And I remember that specifically because my friend, my roommate, had just come back from work at 5:30. So I waved at them. Oh, what are you
Mhm.
doing? Oh, I'm just writing outside. Like, oh, weirdo. Blah blah blah. I worked until I saw them leave at 6:30 in the morning the following day. And then
Oh wow.
it didn't end until like I don't know, like 8 or 9 when I finished it. And do you know how much I wrote? I don't even think I wrote that much. Like I don't know. Like I think it was the first time I ever hit double digits in writing,
Mhm.
but still it was like
Yeah.
it was one of the most like you know the scenes in the movie when the person just starts like laughing and turns into like hysterical crying. It felt
Yeah.
like that because
Yeah.
it was like all right, I just gave literally no lie a full what like almost day and a half of like work,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
not BS work of sitting there. I want to pee and I'm like, nah, you gotta work, just like working, right? It's like
Yeah.
getting cold, so it's like 3 o'clock in the morning outside and you're still like, nah, whatever, just going through the most. And even still, you know, I got like maybe a chapter done. Like it was the most like nerve-wracking thing ever. And just I think one of the hardest things about writing is just knowing that's gonna happen, and just knowing that's gonna happen. I'll be honest with you. I feel like the first time I'm admitting this too, but
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of what's been slowing me down with Iris of Mercy, and I do blame a lot of it on kind of like just like the production of the podcast and doing everything with the company and all
Yeah.
this. But I feel like it's just anxiety of knowing what's coming for me, you know, of
Yeah.
knowing I have those type of like 12-hour, 6-hour, 8-hour shifts ahead of me of straight
Yeah.
work, of going
Mhm.
insane over like looking over a sentence or a paragraph. And the likelihood of it being like 70% wasted is high,
Yeah.
and there's no way I can make it more efficient. Well, so far, right? Because everything gets better as you kind of go along. But
Yeah.
do you feel the
Exactly. You
same
know.
feeling, or am I just crazy? Am I alone there?
No, 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 no. You're not crazy. No, I completely,
Well, you
I
don't know
completely,
me, but
from what I've known so far. No, I totally get it. You know, that's why like I'm learning to take things at my own pace. I was so quick, like when I was writing on Wattpad, so quick to put out chapters and write. I wasn't taking care of myself. So as I was trying to write today, I'm on chapter 3 for book 2. I was
what
trying
is
to
your
write to
frequency? Do you drop like a chapter a week or two a week?
well, right now I'm not dropping anything. I don't know if I wanna publish chat book 2 on Wattpad and then do like I did and publish it on Amazon, or just work on it independently and just go straight to Amazon. I don't know yet. I'm
I
still
honestly look. I didn't even do that route, and I recommend the first one. Just
yeah.
from everything that like Lori's told me, it's just a better route. I mean, think about it. Do you know how much editing costs? I mean, you know, I don't know why I'm talking
Yeah.
down to you, but editing
Yeah.
is to the point that like when you get into this, and again, for any aspiring authors that hasn't heard this before, yo, editing is not a game.
No, it's
It
not.
is not a game. They are
It's
racking
not.
up. It's a real fee. Almost to the
Yeah.
point that it's. I remember when I started like shopping around, and I'm still shopping around for different editors.
Hmm.
Uh, when you hear like their rates, you're like, wait a minute, for my
Yeah.
work, right? So wait a
Yeah.
minute,
And it also goes by how
I have to give you this amount of money on the off chance that I maybe make that money back, plus like
right.
$10.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing here. It's scary. Uh,
Yeah.
but and without Wattpad, that is just an extra phase of editing you have to do. You know,
Yeah.
Wattpad is every week you basically have beta readers. No, at that time it would be called alpha readers, right? I'm still kind of new to how that would be
No,
called.
I think it's called beta readers. Beta readers.
Is it? Because I thought alpha meant like prior to beta. Like it would be like when the book is at its newest, like unedited, that's alpha.
Mhm.
Why
Mhm.
am I even arguing? I literally don't even know. I just assumed. We'll
I
just
know
call it
like a
beta
lot.
readers.
I know my headphones are dying again, my goodness. I know a lot of authors who told me that I can request for beta readers because I'm on this group called Wattpad and Inkit. I forgot what it's called, but it's on Facebook and you can actually ask for beta readers and they'll read it and they'll see,
What you
if
talking about,
it's
Willis?
yeah.
No, that sounds good.
Yeah, so I think yeah, I probably do that. It's just I'm a little conflicted and that's a conversation for another day because lately Wattpad has been deleting stories if it's breaching guidelines.
Yeah.
So that's something I might just do it on Inkit, you
Mm.
know. Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna do it on Wattpad. It's still a conversation because like I said, I'm only on chapter 3, so but it would make sense to put it on the Wattpad though because I still have my old reads from there. It's just unpublished. So I
Now,
don't know.
no, I'm sorry. Continue. I don't know why I keep on reading when you're
No,
ending the
it's okay.
conversation.
I don't know what I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you know what's best, but just for my experience knowing, and for what I'll do for, like, I'll tell you right now, that's what I'm gonna do for all of my releases. And on top of that, I think that's pretty fun for the readers, that they
Mm-hmm.
kind of like,
Get
somebody was
the
actually kind of describing kind of like the nuance of like reading before reading to now, is that now people feel that
yeah.
they're a part of the reading process.
Right,
Like
right, right.
I was actually reading the point of view from a reader, and how they were saying was that, like, imagine if when you were a kid and Harry Potter was like the world to you, if you could somehow
Mm-hmm.
go and talk to J.K. Rowling every week and like make your favorite book, like be a part of your favorite book.
Right.
And I guess that is pretty interesting. Like my thing was Percy Jackson when I was growing up. If I could have had that
Okay.
type of access to Percy Jackson, I think that would have
Yeah.
been like life changing. So
Right,
I
right.
guess that's pretty cool. Now,
Yeah.
pivoting to the last question that I have for you is, what is your favorite character? Not that you've, well, I guess we'll do it kind of both ways. What is the favorite character you have ever created, and what is the favorite character in period? Like, what is your favorite character ever made and created in fiction, or even historical character you draw a lot of inspiration from?
Um, my favorite character that I've created would have to be Jessica
Jessica.
and Valerie. Jessica and Valerie,
Now, Jessica is the girl
main
that's kind of
character.
based, yeah, kind of based around you.
Yeah.
And then the other one is her, yeah,
Valerie.
Valerie is her best friend.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
based on your best friend.
Well, I don't really have a lot of female best friends. But yeah, I like the way I wrote her character
Mm,
and the way that her the way her and Laurel's relationship is. And I'm not gonna say much, but their relationship is really I for some reason they're one of my favorite couples in the book.
okay. And what
Yeah.
about in all of fiction, or again, nonfiction?
Fiction, my favorite character would have to be I'm gonna say two
Go ahead.
characters.
Yeah, you can give me three if you want.
I'm going to say Liam from the London King Crime series.
Mm-hmm.
The London, yeah, it's from my friend Lindsay, and the next one would be Raphael from the Morelli Mafia series, which is by Maya,
Okay.
and I love their character development in the story.
Didn't you say you had a third one? Or no, I said you had a third one. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Third one, third one. Well, actually, yeah, I actually do. I like Liam's love interest, which is Alexa, and as if you read her story, you'll see how she progresses in each book.
Okay.
So it's all about character development for me.
It's all about character development. You heard it here. Alexandria Robinson, Amazon page. You need to look it up. You need to get the book. You need to get a little sample if you don't believe it. And then when you've eaten your own words, you go ahead and you give it a click. You buy it. You gotta support the community here. And I'm telling you, well worth it from everything that I've read on this phenomenal author and just phenomenal mind. A very interesting conversation that we've had here today. Well, on my end anyway.
Yes.
I can't really
Yes,
speak for
my
her.
end too.
Now, to end the podcast, do you have any final thoughts, any final statements that you want to say to the people, and any shout
Um,
outs again if there's anybody else that you feel like you've missed?
yes. I want to say, to my readers and my writers and my supporters, thank you. I'm not gonna name names because that's a lot, but everybody from the Wattpad and Inkit community, I really appreciate your support, your love, your advice through this. It's been a challenging journey for me. My family, thank you for supporting as well. I love you guys. Sometimes I don't, but I do. Um, yeah, that's it. I just want to thank everybody for the support and the love.
And one last time for the people listening, because for the YouTube video, I'm gonna make sure that there's banners up for everything so people can actually read the links for them and
Okay.
easily find you for accessibility. But for the people listening, where can people find you? Instagram.
Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, Wattpad, Inkit, Amazon. Yeah. Goodreads. I would actually I'll give you all the links on Instagram.
All right, good.
Yeah.
And just because I want to highlight a little bit more, where can people find you on Wattpad and Inkit?
Oh, okay, so Wattpad, you can find me. My username is XO Sandy XO, and on Inkit it's Sandy XO.
So it's XO Sandy XO for Wattpad, and then just Sandy XO for Inkit.
For yes.
Okay. And again, if you are a fan of the romance, erotica, and some coming soon, maybe kind of sort of paranormal
Yeah,
erotica,
I'm giving it a year.
then this is the author to look out for. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for coming and having a chat with me. Again, is there anything that you want any final thoughts you want to leave the people with?
No, just thank you for the opportunity. It was good doing this. It's my first time. So I actually enjoyed myself in this conversation.
Great. Now, for the people that are listening on, this is the end of the podcast. A.R.'s Tales, aka the A.R.T podcast. Check with us. Oh my God, what am I saying? On Wednesday when we have another episode, and then next Monday when we have our following peer vlog. Peace out.